The bell tolls. The midnight hour is upon us. It's time once again for two internet strangers to discuss the good and evil of the horror genre. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the terror within the Hallow-Holics Anonymous podcast.
There once was a cat, a very special kitten with fluffy white fur as bright as the first fall of snow, and eyes bluer than chips of fresh ice. It was one cold Christmas Eve that kitten, half frozen, was found by a young father and his little girl on the way home from a trip to the grandmother's house. "Daddy, can we take him home?" pleaded the little girl, her big brown eyes as wide as candy dishes. "Sweetheart, that kitten may not make it through the night," the young father warned. "I do not wish to see your heart broken." But the little girl, with her candy dish eyes, pleaded with him again. "Please, Daddy, it's Christmas Eve." So together, the pair took the very special kitten with fluffy white fur as bright as the first fall of snow and eyes bluer than chips of fresh ice. They bundled him in linens and sang Christmas songs together in the living room with Mama as they drank cocoa and waited for the stroke of midnight. Then, in the wee hours Christmas morning, family went to bed. The kitten had made it through the night, happily licking at the little girl's palm before she fell asleep to lie in wait for Santa Claus to arrive. No one quite knows how it happened that magical Christmas morning, and there are still stories told today of the beautiful red lights tearing into the sky like licks of candy cane stripes. But none of the bodies were ever recovered when the house caught fire and burnt to the ground. They are still looking for the very special kitten today, as he is wanted in several counties for multiple counts of first-degree arson. And so, my friends, it is the time that I say Merry Christmas and have a...
Hey, who are you? How'd you get in here?
Gotta go.
That was weird. Where'd this fireplace, storybook, and box of matches come from?
No idea, but we've got to get this podcast started.
I guess you're right.
Hi, I'm Maddy.
And I'm Corey. And this is Hallow-Holics Anonymous, a show dedicated to all things horror and occasionally Halloween.
On this day in horror history.
Wings Hauser, who starred in the films Night Shadows and The Carpenter and Tales from the Hood, was born. As well as Edward G. Robinson, who was apparently in
Wait, who was the first
Green.
guy? Who was he in Tales from the... Did you say Tales from the Hood? I wasn't listening.
He was in Tales from the Hood,
Okay.
Yes. Wings Hauser.
Which one's he? Oh, it's that guy. Yeah, I remember him. He was the beady father.
Yeah.
He's like poor man Stacy Keach.
Oh, this is a good one. The Wolfman was released theatrically, as well as the 1943 version of Phantom of the Opera and Scream 2.
Scream 2 was okay.
Yeah, but it's not Scream.
Yeah, but it's the one where Jamie Kennedy dies. That's always a good time.
That was on this day in horror history.
Without further ado, it's time for another rendition of... Joe Bob Briggs. Next year, Joe Bob Briggs will be doing a weekly special on Shudder. He was so popular that they've decided to make it a routine. Yay, Joe Bob's back!
I was so confused when I was watching the Briggs version of Sorority Babes last week. Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama. If you don't know what I'm talking about, listen to last week's episode. And he kept talking about how, all right, this is my last time. This is my farewell, my swan song, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh no. Why didn't I watch this live? I've ruined it. And now you tell me I didn't, so that's good.
He was so popular that they brought him back for a Thanksgiving special, which was awesome. And they're bringing him back again because people just love him.
I wonder how old he is.
Well, he's 65, actually.
That's pretty old.
Yeah, I don't think he looked old in the 90s.
I think he looked old. He's always looked the same to me.
In the 90s, he had that kind of like sexy, good old boy kind of look going on for him, like a country singer.
So you're saying he's unattractive now? You're being ageist?
Not into 65-year-olds, I'm sorry.
I think he's still quite the attractive gentleman. I'm fine, very comfortable.
He has an attractive enough personality to make up for the years he's lost.
So you are into 65-year-olds.
And that brings us to the topic of today's episode, Christmas. Because let me just say it, Kurt Russell made a pretty hot Santa, but we're not going to talk about that.
He did. I don't even know what that movie's about. I mean, obviously it's about Santa, but I don't even know what the movie's about. I don't care what that movie's about, but I'll watch it because Kurt Russell's in it and I'm an idiot.
The kids were kind of obnoxious, but Kurt Russell was great. He's always great.
Wait, you've seen it? Is it out already? Is it old?
It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix original.
Oh, I thought it was a movie. Not that Netflix movies
It is a movie.
Movies. I thought it was a theatrical film.
It kind of feels like a weird blend of Hallmark and like legitimate theatrical movies.
I'm kind of sold on it, if you put it that way.
Yeah. Well, and the costume design is incredible. His coat is made of red leather. It's so sweet.
Oh, that sounds dope.
Yeah.
That was a
Pretty
creepy
badass.
way to say so sweet, though, Maddy.
Wait, what?
You were like,
What, like sweet isn't cool.
It's so sweet. Like you like rasped.
Yeah.
You like went like, I don't know. It was creepy.
I would just like to say that I think it's very sad that Christmas has become so materialistic for society in general and politics and social messages, etc., etc.
It's been this way since before we were born.
Yeah, true, but I'd like to think that it's getting worse.
Everything's getting worse, though. Which I guess proves your point, so.
But let's harken back to a time when people cared that Christmas was becoming, well, not so much about the Christmas part of Christmas anymore.
Well, one person cared.
Mm-hmm. One person.
One really creepy person.
Not creepy so much as, broken.
Creepy.
And that man is Martin Scorsese. No, I'm sorry. And this week we'll be discussing my film from 1980, Christmas Evil, and then also your film.
Rare Exports. A Christmas Tale or a Christmas Story. I forget what the subtitle is because I'm terrible at this. Rated R for the last 20 minutes. The rest is rated PG. Well,
I think the opening is...
I forgot about the beginning.
The part that set him up to be basically a broken man.
Yeah, the part that I just watched again today, too. I shouldn't have forgotten.
I told you he'd be happy that we remembered him.
This Christmas, Santa's going to make everyone happy. The grown-ups.
Oh.
And the kids. Christmas Evil. The non-believers.
Watch out!
And the screamers.
Alright, that part was good.
Yeah.
And this Christmas, you better believe
That part was
Santa.
weird. Like, I like the last, 20 minutes of this movie.
Merry Christmas, Frank.
It was very surreal.
Mm-hmm.
I think this part right here is when he started to go off the edge, really, really off the edge.
Oh,
Christmas
I don't think he was
Evil.
there already.
The night he
Yeah, but,
walked in.
I mean, there's no way there were that many Christmas decorations lining the whole street.
Yeah, true.
Portraits, I'm sorry, hold on, let me get my cigarette and put the voice on for this. Portrait of a twisted mind. So obsessed with holiday cheer and goodwill towards man that his home has become a sick and depraved shrine to that jolly fat holiday symbol most sane individuals ban until the last Thursday of November.
So,
I'm sorry, what?
No, continue. I was just wondering why you were using a surfer voice to do this.
No, I'm Rod Serling.
My mistake. Please continue.
Let me dial up that knob a little more.
All right, yeah. Let's get a little more. No, I'm not going to say that.
Harry Stadling is a man whose only joy is his job, and the massive collection of creepy Santa memorabilia he fills his life with. Frustrated with the materialism and mean spirit of the people around him, one day Harry snaps and decides by hook or by candy crook he's going to teach everyone what Christmas is really about. I feel like I turned into a football presenter in that part.
Yeah, if your football presenter was also a grandma, I agree.
Oh, well.
But I think it worked.
So for those who are unaware, Christmas Evil is on Shudder on Amazon streaming in VHS retro style, as God intended. I do feel slightly hipster saying this, but it's the best way to watch this kind of movie.
Yeah.
And I don't doubt it helps with the frame rate soap opera effect HD can have on some.
Very true. I watched it on
Another source.
No, I watched it on Computer Shudder. But I watched it on another source first. And Computer Shudder didn't have it had the effects because it's an old crappy recording. But I don't have Shudder Amazon because the Shudder app is ridiculous. There was some other movie that did it too that I was looking at the other day. I forget what it was though.
So the script was 8 years in the making. The writer, Lewis Jackson, was also the director. And he kind of got screwed over when the distributor rights fell through, and the producer and him didn't quite see eye to eye from what I've gathered. Rights got sold to a cheap schlock company, as Jackson called it, and bootlegged to hell and back. That's when the title got changed to Christmas Evil. The original title was...
Falling Down?
No, the original title was You Better Watch Out.
Oh, well, that's actually pretty good too.
Yeah. But in 2004, Jackson finally decided to pursue rights to the film, which he did manage. So now he owns the rights to his movie. What did you think of this film, Corey?
I thought it was Falling Down, the Christmas tale with a sort of happy ending. I don't know. I like the last 20 minutes. The beginning was weird. What was it with movies in the 70s and early 80s that just made anything sexual super weird and awkward?
I think they did that in this one it's because it was from the point of view of a child.
Maybe.
Never mind. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of weird that they make, a relationship with a husband and his wife just playing around look so sleazy.
Yeah, it's really, really gross.
But, I mean, it's also you're supposed to remember that this kind of is one of the first things that fractured his mind.
So you're saying we're probably seeing it from his eyes rather than...
I think so. Yeah,
that makes sense, especially with that little Christmas decoration thing you had mentioned. So yeah, the end of it was great. Anything that weird and surreal, I love. When the kid hands him the switchblade, that was pretty awesome. The Tinker Toy Soldier in the eye was a good death. The majority of the movie was super, super slow, which I wasn't super into because I'm always tired. I work and I don't sleep enough. So movies that slow kind of lull me to sleep. And I think I did fall asleep twice on this movie, but
I think you have to be prepared for a slower film when you sit down to watch this because it's not going to be a fast action, explosion film.
Right. And I kind of knew that going into it. I just wasn't expecting it to be this, it was just a grind to get to the good stuff.
Well, Jackson didn't really view this as a horror film. He saw it more as a psychological drama, as most horror directors and writers in the 80s tried to pitch their thrillers.
Mm-hmm. Everybody was a little more pretentious back then. That's not true. People are way more pretentious now.
Well, no, it's because they weren't viewed as legitimate art if something was labeled as horror. Even though, Hitchcock, all of his movies, I view them as horror, even though they're thrillers, dramas, you can't tell me Psycho's not a horror film.
True. It was the Cold War too. I don't have any point. I just wanted, since we're talking about that time period, I just wanted to remind everybody about the Cold War.
I do love how some of the creepy Santa elements are turned on their head, like in this. They take the whole, he sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake bit, and makes it creepy by showing, immediately at the beginning, showing him watching neighborhood kids and taking notes about their behavior.
I love how much he hated the Garcia kid. That was really funny.
He was looking at porn. And cutting out pictures of ladies.
Oh, he was just always rambling on to himself about the Garcia kid. It was so funny. Everybody's there's sort of allusions to elves there. And then I don't remember what else, but I did really like the part where he glued the beard on. So that was just see, to me, that was when his transformation was complete. When he tested the beard and made sure it was there. That was when truly became Michael Douglas in Fall Down.
Yeah. John Waters actually sort of likened this film in his commentary because he loves this movie. He likened it to, are you really surprised that John Waters loves this movie?
Oh, no, not at all. It's got everything.
Yeah. He kind of viewed it as more of a metaphor for like a drag queen in the closet.
Of course.
Like the way he lived his life at home.
No, I think that's pushing it. I think that's looking for metaphor when there isn't any. But I mean, if he wants to see high art in mediocre...
But Harry, cool. Like, it would be like, okay, Harry practices his laugh and his song in the mirror at home. Like practicing your voice, you know?
That's just what people do.
I don't.
Really?
No.
Oh. So I assume you don't dress up as a boy when you do it either.
I don't do it, so there's no need to dress up as a boy when I'm not doing it.
Valid point.
Do you dress up as a boy and, like, practice your voice in the mirror?
No, I dress up like a girl like everybody else.
As far as dressing up, I do think if I had jammies like he does, I would certainly dance around like a ballerina in my apartment every morning, too.
That guy had some impressive steps. He had some rhythm. I think
he had a lot of really creepy memorabilia that made me wonder how I never thought Christmas stuff could be creepy.
I've got a scythe within my eye line right now, like I'm staring at it, and his house is creepier than mine.
It's like that serial killer who like put pennies all over his wall, you know?
What?
There was a serial killer who glued pennies to his wall. Like a whole wall of pennies.
Which one? How do I not know about that?
I don't know. It was on Reddit. It was on a Today I Learned thread.
Okay. Remember. I'll look it up later. It's not important.
Yeah, some obsessive guy. But I did think that's a really cool design aesthetic. It would take too long, but...
I like the cut of that serial killer's jib. I'm going to glue pennies on my wall.
You know, you might enjoy this movie more if you bought the special edition Blu-ray because John Waters does a commentary track.
Yeah, I might. I do really like John Waters. I don't think I'm ever going to watch this movie again, though. I'm glad I did. I think I watched the beginning 4 times and the entire movie through twice, whatever that adds up to.
One reason I really love this movie is because the main character, who, while clearly on the verge of just going nuts, he's a likable person. He's like a legitimately nice guy, and even when he's insane, he thinks he's doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. And he's got a little bit more of a thought process than your typical Santa slasher murderer. He has more dialogue than just naughty.
True. Not a whole lot more, though.
So I think that opening scene, I just remembered, I think they made that sleazy and did that because of the song I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus.
Could be. Or it could be because everybody was sleazy and gross in the late 70s, early 80s.
But can you imagine the trouble the mom and dad went through when they were setting up a seat inside the chimney for dad to hang out on with a giant bag of gifts, and then going to the trouble of setting up a radio the kids wouldn't see for the sound effects just to make them smile? I mean, they either did that or just like elaborate head games were a thing for these people, and it's not surprising their eldest son went crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even read that as dad. I figured she was cheating on her husband because he was probably at work. I think it was just an elaborate ploy to cheat on her husband.
I don't think there would be any reason for him to impress those kids dressed as Santa if he wasn't their father.
Well, you know, it's all part of the lie. He'd be like, Daddy, Santa was here.
Like, the angry brother would have said, and then Mom left Dad for that guy dressed as Santa Claus that one year. They would have addressed that.
Maybe.
I think we all kind of know a guy like Harry. Maybe to some degree, Harry is you on the days you feel completely alone. Or he's that friend you left behind a long time ago because you just couldn't handle their problems anymore. He's a victim and he's simultaneously a villain who thinks he's a hero.
Yeah, like Falling Down. Like Michael Douglas.
You know, I would honestly say this is more like a Christmas Taxi Driver than Falling Down. He's looking for his tune.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, like you addressed, there is minimal gore to this movie, and yet the MPAA refused to allow ads for it to be run, and the release was unfairly limited.
Well, I think it was fairly limited.
You are not giving me much to work on here, guy.
I'm sorry. Like, I don't know why I'm being so mean about this movie. I didn't hate it at all.
Well, a lot of people did. In fact, Variety was pretty much the only publication that gave it good reviews.
Variety gave me good reviews once, so I don't think it's hard. I'm being serious. I don't think it's hard to get good reviews in Variety.
You know, the actor who played Harry, Brandon Maggart, is Fiona Apple's dad.
Really? Was she ever an actress? Did she ever do movies? Yeah.
Every singer's done like at least one movie.
I'm going to look her up.
Or two. And then, sometimes they even write songs about those movies from the point of view of a shark.
Deeper, bluer, my hat is like a shark's fin.
So I went to see Black Christmas one year at Alamo Drafthouse, and the print they used was actually Tarantino's personal copy, because every Christmas, Quentin Tarantino watches Black Christmas. Well, every Christmas, John Waters watches Christmas Evil. Now, don't get me wrong, Black Christmas is a visual feast and a masterpiece, but I think this one is actually more rewatchable because it's so campy.
Maybe I haven't seen Black Christmas. I feel like we went through this, though. Like, I feel like... I don't know.
Black Christmas is a really good movie, but it's a tough watch for me because I really don't like any of the characters in the original. I don't care about the woman who's pregnant and wants to get an abortion and freaks out because the guy she's dating is upset that she's getting an abortion. And it's treated like he's crazy for being upset. I think he's justified in being upset. Maybe he overreacted, but... she's not justified in thinking he has no rights, but that's a whole political tornado I don't want to get into.
Maybe I haven't seen it. I mean, my memory sucks, but I have no memory of that whatsoever.
There's a moment when Harry was molding those soldiers that kind of made me think of the Unabomber, you know?
Yeah, I can see that, like, very focused loner doing his thing. Yeah.
Now, I feel like this is obligatory, even though I've already said it, but something consumerism, something more true now than ever, something Hitchcock, Scorsese, Polanski. Now let's talk about these crappy toys. They are cheap enough to crack if you squeeze them too hard, and yet sharp enough to shred your skin.
And to go through eyes.
No. That was the soldier he built.
Oh, okay.
Like, these things broke when he was assembling them at the factory.
Oh, like those crappy motorcycles.
Yeah, quality control is clearly not an issue at this budget-conscious, money-hungry toy company.
No, for sure. In the scene where he's in, I think it's the Garcia house, and he pulls out that little motorcycle guy, and then he has the black motorcycle guy and the red motorcycle guy. He, looked at him weird. I wasn't sure if he was comparing them, or if he was like, oh, haha, the kid's getting one of these, or what was going on with that.
There's a lot of little moments that are hard to exactly recall, but I think it's probably because he was glad to just be giving him the cheap stuff.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Now, even though you didn't love this movie, I do think this is one of those pleasant surprises you find in an older, low-budget film, walking in with low expectations. I mean, because, of the industrial monster that movie making can sometimes be, churning just out hundreds of generic bad flicks every year, and you've gotten used to seeing so many bad movies. I think this is better than most of those. Yeah,
I think you're right, and like I said, it meets my criteria for a good movie. If there's even one thing in it I like the movie, and there's more than one thing I like. Like, I don't know if you want to ruin the ending. I would rather not, but I know I also don't care that much now that I think about it. But with an ending,
it came out in 1980.
Yeah.
So.
Well, with an ending that surreal, I feel like they could have gone a little bit weirder with the rest of it and maybe help the pacing out some.
Yeah.
And I think that might be my main actual technical problem with it, other than, oh, it's bad.
I don't know. I was okay with the pacing. I thought the slow pacing worked for the character.
You're probably right. Yeah. Again, I was tired when I watched it.
At any rate, the first Christmas party scene with the toy company is sleazy as hell, dark, cramped, not even remotely wholesome. I'm sure there's funny stains on the couches in that building. But
and everybody patting each other on the shoulders and being like, oh, he's my boy. Oh, this is a good up and comer, blah, blah, blah. I hate that.
Yeah. Ugh. But the second Christmas party scene, when he gets sort of dragged in, is an excellent illustration of what Harry never was and always wanted to be. Somebody loved. Somebody who's part of the people he's surrounded by, even if for only one magical night. He couldn't even get that from his own brother. Whenever you go back to his brother's just talking about what a burden he is, what a loser he is, how much patience he's always had because he had to be the more responsible one. He doesn't have a very good life.
No. He's definitely just like a lonely weirdo.
Which brings me to the moment in that scene, which I've just got to play. The one that makes you realize why maybe people don't like hanging around him too much.
I really must go now.
It's an awesome costume.
Mm-hmm.
But now, I want you to remember to stay good boys and girls. Respect your mothers and fathers and do what they tell you. Obey your teachers and learn a whole lot. Now, if you do this, I'll make sure you get good presents from me every year. But if you're bad boys and girls, your name goes in the bad boys and girls book. And I'll bring you something horrible.
I like the girl in the pink's reaction.
And just the uncomfortable looks of every adult at that party. They're like, okay, Santa, time to go home. I think that right there is a really good example of probably how he acts even when he's not crazy thinking he's Santa Claus.
Yeah, it shows him as this socially inept guy who just doesn't know how to react in those situations and ends up going creepy. I've met people like that. I'm pretty sure they haven't gone on a Christmas murder spree, but I've met people like that.
There is actually an argument about whether Harry drove off a cliff and died in that van, or his sheer belief truly did turn him into Santa Claus. In which case, what the hell, guys? This is a great movie, but it's not Del Toro or Shyamalan. Get over yourselves. He died because he's insane.
I think you're right, but I do prefer to think that he believed so hard he created himself into Santa. It is a lot funnier to end it that way.
Wouldn't reindeer have sprung from the van at least?
No, because they even made mention about Santa updating his ride at some point.
Didn't update it to a very nice vehicle, did he?
Well, it was the 70s. Everything was gross then. Well, 80s. Well, it was filmed in the 70s.
Okay, I want your honest opinion, though. Is this movie about the dangers of consumerism, or becoming solely obsessed with one subject in your life to such a degree that it destroys you? Is it about mental health? Is it about loneliness? Or is it just about the magic and wonder of Christmas?
Probably all that stuff. Most of it accidentally. Like, I think any of the smart stuff you said, it happened accidentally. I don't know. I definitely think that it's about a dude who goes crazy and murders a bunch of people on Christmas dressed as Santa and then becomes Santa.
Merry Christmas, one and all. Hey guys, an extra week of recording and I finally wore Corey down.
About what?
Celebrating Christmas in all its glory.
I am not Christmas's biggest fan. It's not my favorite day. Or 2 days, I guess. It's more than that. It's like 2 months. This takes up 2 months of our lives.
Yeah, it takes up like 1 day if you do it right.
No, because you have to look at other people's crap. In fact, I'm going to send you this picture. So I live in the town that birthed or spawned Jimmy Stewart. I don't care.
Really?
Most
Jimmy Stewart's the best.
Don't care.
I love Jimmy Stewart.
Of course you do. The town itself cares. But they don't care enough to do things well. They care enough to half-ass it. Hence what I believe I either posted in your Discord. Yeah, I did. Okay, I just posted it in our Discord. We'll put it on the blog too so you guys can see it. But this sort of encompasses why I hate Christmas, is you just have all this like half-assed stuff.
That movie doesn't look happy.
I know, it's terrible, and it's like the worst lettering ever. Everything about this is just stupid. But that to me is what it's all about. Like, you amass all this half-assed breakable crap, you put it up for like 2 weeks, sometimes 4, and then you buy a bunch of crap you don't need to give to people you usually don't like very much. And then you get stuff that you probably also don't need or really want, or they get you booze, which is fine.
I guess
it's just, I don't know. It's hard being a Christmas. It's hard not being a Christian at Christmas, Maddy.
You know, I don't really pay attention to all that stuff around me. There are some good light shows and there are some bad ones. The people who do it poorly, you just kind of overlook them. Some of those awful decorations have become a fun tradition. Like, for instance, the whole ugly sweater thing. Nobody used to enjoy wearing ugly sweaters, but now because they're ugly, it's a fun thing to do every year, and people compete to make them uglier and dumber.
That's true, and that actually reminds me, I need to do, before I forget again, every year I look for a snowman riding a toboggan sweater.
That's a very specific sweater.
Yes, and someday somebody will make it, and someday I'll own one. This doesn't look like it's the year. So, audience, if any of you are knitters, I should clarify, I said knitters. I'm a little slurry tonight, and I'm still sick, so I need to make sure I enunciate words like that. Please knit me this sweater, and I will give you something awesome from my personal collection of random crap.
Or you could just learn to knit yourself. Well, since we probably can't secure that sweater for you this episode, and we've still got to talk about movies, I feel like there's only one way to truly bring the Christmas spirit to this show, in the spirit of the show, to make you happy, Corey.
Oh, no.
That's right. Listeners, today on Hallow-Holics Anonymous, we are going to workshop live our very own 12 Days of Christmas.
Yeah, I should have seen this coming.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. You should have. But you didn't. I've got the first 2 stanzas prepared, and we're going to take turns. And after that, we have to come up with something else.
So are we going to alternate, or is this a free-for-all?
I think we're going to alternate, because it's very difficult for us to talk at the same time, as we've learned multiple experiences.
That's a very good point. But
listeners, we have to edit This is Hallow-Holics Anonymous and sync it.
I was going to say, because of the magic of editing, they will never know when we do that, but you just gave it away. So, yeah, that's right. We can't say This is Hallow-Holics Anonymous at the same time, folks.
We've tried.
No, we don't. We tried for like 4 shows.
Wait, okay, let's try it this time before we start the song, just to see if maybe the magic of Christmas is somehow giving us a miracle.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. And
this is Hallow-Holics Anonymous. See? It's impossible. No Christmas miracles for us.
Just for that, you're reading the first stanza.
Okay, so are we going to write this and then go back and sing the entire thing, or are we just going to write this and sing it as we go?
We're going to write and sing as we go.
That's a good idea, because it would take a month of Sundays to do it the other way. Oh, right, there's lyrics first before. We can't just read the first thing, right? You want to do the song, so.
The lyrics.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a hacksaw and a pear tree. Oh, I'm reading the wrong lyrics. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a hacksaw and a preteen.
On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 leather gloves.
And a hacksaw and a preteen.
Okay, what works? Instead of 3 French hens, let's do 3...
melted babies.
No, that doesn't even have the... No, that's... Come on, at least count the syllables, man.
3 French hens. 3 syllables.
This is not as easy as I thought it would be.
No, it's hard. Mostly because there are no words for... child. No, that doesn't work either. I was trying to think of a 1-syllable word for baby.
Why do we keep trying to hurt children in this song, Corey?
Well, because you know how I feel about hurting children in movies. I think it's very important, and it doesn't happen enough. So I feel like we should hurt as many children as we can during this song.
It's an extra syllable, but I feel like you can make it work. Let's go with this one. Go for it.
Do, 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 do. On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 severed heads,
2 leather gloves,
and a hacksaw and a preteen. All right, so we're on the 4th day.
Yeah, did you see what I wrote?
Yes.
Okay, does that work?
Yes.
Okay, because 5 is going to have to be absolutely incredible. On the 4th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 talking dolls,
3 severed heads,
2 leather gloves,
and a hacksaw and a preteen. I keep wanting to say pear tree. See, that's what this song does. This song and Christmas and its poison is so just drilled into our brains that like these words are forever seared in our collective unconsciousness. And I will always think of pear tree even though we're trying to make it fun. So all that I want to do is put a hacksaw on a pear tree tonight.
And that doesn't make any sense.
You know what I learned from you on this tirade, though?
What?
Drills. Drills are a pretty cool thing. I feel like we could work drills into this song somehow.
Why, we have to. Drills are a very important part of modern slasher culture. Wow, that was the most pretentious way to say, hey, they use drills to murder stuff in movies.
So, we could go lazy with this and just make it dead things. But that's very vague.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Let's work on it a little bit. We can get. There's something better. There's something better for sure. So it's normally 5 gold rings. I totally stole that from Eddie Izzard. See, that's another thing. Eddie Izzard's stand-up is so burned into my head, just like this song.
So
that anytime I sing this song, I think of that.
Eddie Izzard. No, it doesn't quite have the same.
No.
It could be cold. It could be dead. It could be
all my favorite things.
Cold, old. Does rings?
I just went right back to dead things. I was about to throw it out there as another option. Oh God. I can't believe in my entire life I never thought to do this. This should be easy for both of us.
Something screams. It should be screams because you're singing that really loud anyway. So the word screams.
Yeah,
something screams. Chilling screams.
Muffled.
What? Muffled screams. I like it.
Screams.
Yes, I love it. Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. Although that doesn't really make sense. It would have to be like 5 muffled screams.
Then let's do it like that. Come on. Okay.
Okay. On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 5 muffled screams.
4 talking dolls.
3 severed heads.
2 leather gloves.
And a hacksaw in a pear teen tree. Teen. Let's just keep that. That's fine.
Yeah, I think that works. That works. On the 6th, okay. Geese a-layin'. Not geese a-layin'.
That's gotta be slaying. Whatever it is has to end with slaying.
6, something slaying. 6, Voorhees slaying.
Vampire slaying.
No, that doesn't, what?
Buffy slaying.
6, Buffy slaying.
Do we want to go with like do we want to call out actual things in this? Because I feel like if we use Voorhees, then we have to use Michael, and we have to use Freddy, and then we have to use all like Chucky and Pinhead, and it just turns the song into something that isn't ours anymore.
Yeah, and then Muffled Screams would have to be something with dreams if we were going that way.
Yeah, that's true.
6.
Ghouls asleep.
No.
Ghost kids playing.
Oh, I like that, actually. You like read my mind. I was actually kind of going in that direction. There we go.
Nuts.
All right. On the 6th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 6 ghost kids playing.
5 muffled screams.
4 talking dolls.
3 severed heads.
2 leather gloves.
And a hacksaw in a preteen.
See, you're getting the Christmas spirit. You may think you're not, but I can hear it.
I'm getting the Krampus Day spirit. What's it called? Weisenskampf? I just made up a German word. That was probably racist.
We made up a lot of German words on this podcast.
Wait, no, really, it's like Krampusnacht or something, or Warspacht.
That's a beer.
It's also a Star Trek character, I think, German. Hold on, what's Krampus Day called?
Hefeweizen.
It's Krampusnacht. Krampusnacht.
No, Krampus night, yeah, that makes sense.
It makes a whole lot of sense.
Okay, 7 swans a swimming, so something women. Deadly women. How's that work? Deadly women?
Yeah. Can we keep swimming? What's evil in the water? Swimming, 7 creatures swimming.
7.
We'd be lazy if we do that, though.
No, it wouldn't, but it'd have to be a really good one to lead into swimming. Oh, 7 clowns are grinning.
I guess that works because it just made me twitch like that last shot of whiskey. On the 7th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 7 clowns a grinning.
6 ghost kids playing.
5 muffled screams.
4 talking dolls.
3 severed heads.
2 leather gloves.
And a hacksaw in a preteen.
By the way, listeners, if anyone would like to apply instrumentals to this song, we welcome you to it.
Was that just you low-keying asking me to do it?
It might have been.
I'll see what I can do.
All right. The 8th day of Christmas. That one is 8 maids a milking, so let's 8 blades a killing?
8 blades a killing is actually better than mine. I was thinking 8 legs a twitching because you've got spiders, but I like yours better.
On the 8th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 8 blades a killing.
7 clowns a grinning.
6 ghost kids playing.
5 muffled screams.
4 talking dolls.
3 severed heads.
2 leather gloves.
And a hacksaw and a preteen.
I feel like we're getting really melodic now.
I think that's because I'm getting drunk.
With that, Piper's piping. What we got? What do we got?
9. We haven't mentioned vampires yet. We've got to shoehorn vampires in here. And werewolves, dude. Our 2 favorites. We don't even have them yet.
Not werewolves wearing.
Werewolves be wearing.
Vampires vamping. Strike a pose. No, strike a pose.
9.
Zombies zombing. Ghouls a ghouling. Actually, I kind of like that one.
Yeah, Ghouls a Ghoulin's not bad, actually. Okay. It's got like sort of a 50s thing going on.
Yeah, okay, let's go with that one.
On the 9th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 9 ghouls a ghoulin'.
8 blades a killing.
7 clowns a grinning.
6 ghost kids playing.
5 muffled screams.
4 talking dolls.
3 severed heads.
2 leather gloves.
And a hacksaw and a preteen. Oh, this one should be pretty simple. Spectres.
No.
Prancing?
Oh, actually, you know what? That does work.
Did they prance, though? Why did you like knowed my specters really fast? Do you have like a problem with specters?
It's a weird word.
Are you a spectrist?
Well, I feel like we've already got ghost kids.
Yeah, that's true. And we've only mentioned clowns, ghouls, and ghosts. So maybe we don't want to do specter.
I feel like werewolves would be appropriate because it's just the right amount of syllables here.
Werewolves pouncing.
That works.
It's also funny to think of werewolves prancing. 'Tis the season.
On the 10th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 10 werewolves prancing.
9 ghouls a ghoulin'.
8 blades a killing.
7 clowns a grinning.
6 ghost kids playing.
5 muffled screams.
4 talking dolls.
3 severed heads.
2 leather gloves.
And a hacksaw in a preteen.
Now you're really getting into it. See, you're forgetting about that pear tree. You're really,
it's
really
because
like...
I've got the original lyrics on my right screen, and I've got our stuff on the center screen, and I just don't look to my right anymore.
I'd like to think that maybe you found the true spirit of the season.
Or if you would like to believe that, you can.
11 vamps a creeping.
Yeah, I can dig on that. On the 11th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 11 vamps a creeping.
10 werewolves prancing.
9 ghouls a ghoulin'.
8 blades a killing.
7 clowns a grinning.
6 ghost kids playing.
5 muffled screams.
4 talking dolls.
3 severed heads.
2 leather gloves.
And a hacksaw in a preteen.
We gotta make this last one good, Corey. We gotta do it. Come on. 12. Drummers drumming.
That's what it already is.
No. What do we have to change it to?
Oh.
Bum bim bum bim. That one's harder.
Yeah. How many points does John Dee's mystical circle have?
What?
Nothing. John Dee was like...
yeah, I know who John Dee is.
I also just made up the mystic circle part. 12 cephalopods?
What the heck? No.
Cthulhu's a cephalopod.
Okay, what are they called in the town?
Dagon?
Dagon.
Well, they're not called. The people in the town aren't called Dagon. Dagon's the thing that people in the town worship.
What is the town called?
Dagonese?
No.
Dagonesians?
It's the island of,
Misfit Toys.
No.
I'm not even trying anymore. Dr. Moreau. Still not trying.
Imboca.
Sambuca?
Imboca. This is the hardest part of the whole song.
What is evil and 12? Oh, that's put me on a list.
Plumbers, strummers, thumbers, thrummers.
12 control freaks. No.
Bubblegum, Canada plum, Carissa plum, Jamaica rum.
Demons.
American sweet gum, Congo cum. Wait, what? Congo gum.
Congo cum?
Congo gum. That sounds awful.
It really does.
I am stumped.
12 taken children?
No. Is there a monster that hums?
Didn't the dude in Slumber Party Massacre make, like, weird whimpering noises?
Probably. I think he did some kind of grunting. This is really disappointing. We did so well.
We'll get there. Slashers stabbing isn't good.
Monsters.
We could just skip the 12 and just be like, you'll die alone. Oh wait, no, that's 5 again.
Monsters munsting?
Munsting reminds me of cheese.
Drummers drumming evilly.
How about, drummers drumming just with my vocal processor pitched way down.
12 drummers drumming.
We really want to cop out on that. I feel like we can think of something.
Okay, 12.
Teeth a gnashing?
No. You're on a good track, though.
Do we keep gnashing? No, because you can only use gnashing in reference to teeth. 12 broken teeth.
No, stop doing the 5 one.
That's right, I did. I get confused.
Okay, let's think about tropes. Let's think about horror tropes. We've already talked about clowns and werewolves and vampires and ghouls and ghosts. What else is there? Mummies mumming! Mummies mumming!
Mummies mumming is actually pretty good because mumming is also a reference to acting, right?
Yes! Oh my god, yes!
There you go. We did it.
Wow! I can't believe we actually found a really good rhyme, too! On
the
12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 12 mummies mumming.
11 vamps a creeping.
10 werewolves prancing.
9 ghouls a ghouling.
8 blades a killing.
7 clowns a grinning.
6 ghost kids playing.
5 muffled screams.
4 talking dolls.
3 severed heads.
2 leather gloves.
And a hacksaw in a preteen.
How do you feel about Christmas now, Corey?
The same.
Oh.
It's the most magical time of the year. When traditions are honored. And the youngest among us still believe in the spirit of the season.
I've never seen this trailer.
Really?
No.
This mountain is like a giant icebox.
For storing what?
Drill deep. Bear the dynamite. You have a grave to rob.
Minkälaiset sudet tekee? Hyvää joulua.
Dad, the bait is gone!
Yeah, I was just thinking that our 10 listeners are going to be having to translate Finnish.
Unless our 10 listeners are Finnish.
That's true.
And they've been translating English.
Awesome.
Nice twist!
Yeah.
Tell him we're holding Santa for ransom.
I wonder if this is...
He sees you when you're sleeping.
I mean, I wonder if they're speaking... They have to be speaking Finnish. I did a little bit of research on...
He knows if you've been bad or good.
The Sami that they talk about.
And he doesn't give up. Rare exports, A Christmas Tale.
this is one of those rare, weird movies that normally I really like strange film like this. I feel like I shouldn't like this movie, but I absolutely love this movie.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where it comes from though. Everybody's so unlikable in this movie. Or at least maybe not unlikable, maybe they're all just not good people.
Yeah.
You know, there's not like Pietri or however you say his name, I'm gonna destroy.
Peter, let's just call him Peter.
I have it written down as Pietri.
Yeah,
Pietri.
but I mean, it's pretty much it's the same name. It's Peter.
Pietri.
Okay, call him Pietri.
Pietri.
You say it like that too?
Yes.
Like you're calling out.
I guess he's kind of not a terrible person, but even he does bad stuff.
He's never going to confess.
No, but maybe
that could have solved the problem.
I don't think it could have. I don't know. I think he had done a lot of bad stuff at that point.
It'd be a lot easier than blowing up like a minefield.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be as cool. So I feel like before we even get to this movie, we need to talk about Krampus for a minute. Mm-hmm. So Krampus is essentially evil Santa. He kind of looks like Baphomet with his horns and cloven hooves, and he carries chains, which I guess these were for chaining up bad children and dragging them off to his lair, because he would do that and then whip the kids, and I imagine he'd eat them or something too, because that's what fairy tale bad guys did. The chains also could have been added later by Christians trying to chain up the devil, because Krampus looks a lot like the pagan horned god, and
I always thought it was branches.
I think it's both. I think that there's different versions of it. I've definitely seen horns and I've definitely seen branches. This is a movie more about him than it is about Santa. We're going to talk.
Well, it's not about Santa at all, really.
Well, no, it's not, but we're trying not to ruin this movie for people. Well, we're trying. Okay. I don't know. It is 8 years old now. So we open on an office at a dig site funded by an obviously rich man. He knows they're getting close to the discovery he's waited his whole life to make, so he hands out new rules to the employees because it's Christmas time. They are as follows: no drinking, no smoking, no cursing, I think no lying. I had to pause it and his hand was covering this. And no cavorting. No arguing, and the one that the guy reads is wash behind your ears.
Huh? Which is funny because those elves are really dirty.
Yeah, they are really dirty. So it turns out they're digging for Santa Claus. Although in this movie, like I said, it's more like Krampus. So we'll just call him Evil Santa. He's been buried by the Sami, an ancient people who lived up there on the sort of northern Finland Russian border. They mainly survived by fishing, fur trapping, and sheep herding, and apparently they're best known as semi-nomadic reindeer herders. In fact, today, reindeer herding is illegal for everyone except the Sami people, which is why I think maybe, since these people are obviously herding reindeer and there are cops there and there's a town, that I assume they're the Sami people. I don't know. Or the movie just doesn't dive into it. It doesn't matter. That could be it too.
I think the movie promises to dive more into culture and lore than it ever delivers on.
Well, that's kind of what I liked about it too, but we'll come back to that. So I didn't even know that reindeer herding was a thing until I researched for this movie. I thought they just got to like roam around and do whatever they wanted when they weren't being eaten by wolves or enslaved by creepy fat men in suits.
Yeah, because that's how all animal agriculture works.
Pretty much, yeah.
Being sarcastic.
Well, I used to be a vegetarian. I don't know. So yeah, like I said, I think that since they're herding reindeer, they must be modern day Sami because they have they have big plans. They're all getting ready for this big reindeer herd that's meant to come through just before Christmas. And I don't know if reindeer herds are this predictable that like their migratory patterns can be predicted. I'm using the word predicted too much, but you know what I mean. Like they build this big fence with this electrified wire all around it, and they're going to herd them all in there, and they're going to kill them for their meat and fur and whatever else reindeer have, bone, I don't know. So our main character, Pietari, the little kid, and his gloriously mulleted friend Yuso have snuck into the evil Santa dig site. They're spying on everything that's going on up there, and they overhear the speech that the rich guy's giving about, oh, I've nearly found what I've been looking for my entire life. And then they run off. And somehow Pietari is already able to put together that they're digging up Santa Claus. And I'm kind of unclear on how they did that, but he goes home and does some research, which is where he learns the truth about Santa. He's in.
And we don't.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, we don't get any real information. We just see drawings.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to get to this too. This is all sort of why I love this movie. So Santa's an evil monster that carries bad kids off into the night, like Krampus, often tearing them apart and I think eating them. Again, not too clear on that. Also not too clear on why a child in the middle of nowhere has access to a full library on evil Santa books.
Oh, the Finns are very well read.
I guess. I'm just going to let that go, though. So we then meet his father, Rauno, who is digging an illegal punji pit to catch wolves in so they don't eat all his reindeer. Because, like I said, these people are all reindeer hunters. They do end up finding the herd that they're looking for, but they're all dead and half-eaten. Pietari and Yuso blame themselves because they're the ones that cut the hole in the fence to go spy on the Santa dig site. The adults all blame the Englishman running the evil Santa dig site. Did I mention that this fence is a border between Russia and Finland also, and that they're not supposed to cross it? And they go in there like with their guns, like they're ready to like shoot up the place or like threaten people. I don't know how they thought basically invading another country was a solution to their $85,000 reindeer problem.
I'd make a joke, but I don't even know if it's a racial stereotype or not.
Yeah, it might be. The whole reason all the men do what they do in this is to make Pietari seem more weak and seem more frail. You know what I mean? I think we're supposed to feel like these are like hard men that like work hard and have difficult lives. And Pietari is this weird little kid, you know, and everybody kind of doesn't really respect him for it.
Yeah, the kid's gotta have some kind of weird problem.
Yeah. So everyone's just gone, leaving behind this giant hole in the ground. It turns up they weren't digging up Santa's grave, but his prison, and he may have escaped. Nobody but Pietari understands this because it's crazy, and these are simple reindeer herding people. They're not going to think that Santa is buried under a mountain. We don't get a whole lot of exposition on most of the characters here. Most of what we learn is through occasional one-liners and facial expressions and characters overhearing things in the background, which I think, especially the facial expression stuff, was done really, really well. For example, we know the man funding the Santa dig is rich because he has his fancy jacket, and I think he's wearing makeup. I guess that's what rich people do. We learn that he's obsessed with finding Santa because he's got that line about waiting for his whole life. We know that Piparinen is a helicopter pilot because of a throwaway line in the background about his helicopter needing repairs, which is important for the end of the movie. And then we learn that Santa might be sneaking out early on in the film because Pietari finds footprints on his roof and his Christmas lights unplugged. So this movie sort of does all these little hints at lore and hints at bigger things happening. And I really like the way that I like the subtlety of this movie. I like that they kept everything really low key. But I think my favorite moment my favorite low key moment might be a scene between Pietari and his father on Christmas Eve.
Oh man, yeah.
Rauno is definitely embarrassed by his son, right? Like, I mean, he pushes him over, like the kid's just a pain, tells him to take his goggles off and all this stuff. And I assume he does this because he's not manly enough. And before this scene, Rauno has burned dinner, so they sit down to eat gingerbread. Pietari says something like, this is just like mom used to make. And you can actually see the pain in his dad's eyes, and that's how we find out that she's dead. And they sit with each other, awkwardly struggling to find something to talk about when this comes up. And the entire story just plays out on Rauno's face. His son asks him some very serious questions that his father just kind of brushes off with short answers and sends him off to bed. Like, Dad, what would you do if I disappeared? And he just doesn't answer it, doesn't show any love. Pietari's off to bed, says Merry Christmas, and heads off. And his dad returns the sentiment, and as soon as the kid's out of eye shot, he just falls apart. This is obviously like a miserable and broken man. And this is the only truly serious scene in this movie, and it's so perfect. It's just so heartbreaking to see, like, this guy's past on his face. I think this guy did so well in that scene.
That was a good scene. I will say, though, that if your kid asks that and you send them to bed, that's a very dangerous move.
Yeah, for sure. Did the kids disappear before that or that? No, that was Christmas Eve. So the kids all disappeared that night. And that's what, he was worried about that. This definitely falls in the black comedy subgenre, not because of its edgy jokes or ridiculous characters. It does have some ridiculous moments, but it's more like the seriousness of this movie. Even though it's an absolutely insane situation, everybody in this movie just takes everything so seriously and so like low key. They're all so low key stern about everything. They just kind of embrace it and they just figure it out, especially Pietari, who nearly kills his father with a bear trap in the fireplace on Christmas morning, no doubt trying to catch evil Santa on his way down the chimney.
It kind of, for me, verges on like classic black Russian, like classic dark, like Russian comedy, wherein someone has to tell me at the end that it was a comedy because none of it was funny.
It kind of does feel that way.
There were no jokes. I could watch a story about, seriously, The Seagull. Let's talk about that for just a second. It's about a miserable family with terrible guests. The guy keeps trying to write good plays. Everyone tells him he sucks and then he kills himself. And at the end, you're expected to believe it's a comedy?
Wait, what did you call that?
It's a play by Chekhov called The Seagull. God, I hate that play. Russian comedy in general.
Yeah, no, I know the show. Were all of Chekhov's plays about that?
No, I'm just talking about The Seagull, like, specifically.
No, I know. But
all of his comedies were not comedies.
Yeah, that's very, very true. His stuff was dark. I did a Chekhov show a few years ago, and that's pretty much the exact plot. I forget what it was, though. So they do catch something a little bit on, in the punji pit. They catch a skinny man with a long white beard. The man seems dead, but is he? Probably not. This would be a very short movie if that was the case. So yeah, they think they've caught Santa Claus, and they take him into, his father's also a butcher.
Well, hold on. The adults don't think they've caught Santa Claus at first. They think they caught someone from the dig.
Oh, yeah. They think they caught one of the workers, and they think they killed him, so they're in there not even considering, they've decided to chop up his body, and they're about to start when they find out he's actually alive. But I don't want to get into the mystery of this movie too much. Let's just say this is the beginning of what's really going on, and what really is in this pit is yet to be fully understood.
And there's a lot of penis.
Oh, there's a lot of penis. And in the end, it all falls to Pietari. He's got to save his home and all the children in it as they have disappeared on Christmas Eve. He obviously feels he has something to prove to the town, his father, maybe even himself, as he comes up with his plan to end the terror that is evil Santa forever. And possibly ending himself, too. The kid's plan is very dangerous for a child to undertake. Kid's what, 7, 11, 14? I don't know.
He looks like he could be maybe 11 or 12.
Yeah, I'm going to put him at like 11. But yeah, I love this movie. It's so perfectly ridiculous. I was really surprised you didn't like it.
Maybe I expected more. It reminded me in a way of how disappointing I found, like, Dead Snow, which people had recommended to me for years, and I thought to myself after I saw it, all I could think was, that's it?
I much prefer the sequel.
Yeah, I just felt like there was a lot of build-up, and it wasn't a very satisfying conclusion for me.
I thought the conclusion was so off the wall that it was supremely satisfying. It was so weird. Like, this is some parallel universe that isn't even related to our reality for them to do what they did in the end of this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think the short film, the director did a short film first.
Yeah, I think I watched that once and completely forgot about it. I'm pretty sure I watched I watch this movie every Christmas.
Maybe with a rewatch, I would enjoy this movie more because I'd know what I was getting out of it. I wanted more. Yeah. I think it ended too soon. It's probably because there was no moral bone to it. There was no
See, that's another thing I liked about it. Nobody was good in it, and that was kind of why you had evil Santa doing the things he or they or whatever was doing. Because everybody in this town are just terrible survivalists. They're just doing what they need to do, whether that's good or bad. There's no morals to any of these people that we see, you know what I mean? They're not bad people, but they're certainly not good people.
I guess I always like for there, even if it's a slasher movie, I like there to be a moral or something redeeming.
Yeah, sometimes, normally I do too, but sometimes I'm okay with the entire cast just not learning a damn thing from what they just went through. And this is such a good example of that.
You know, I think the movie Krampus took from this and built on it and did something much better.
Ugh. I didn't hate Krampus, but I can't believe you like Krampus more than this.
So I don't like Krampus that much, but I think it's better than this. I think they expanded in the right ways, and they kind of pointed out the elements that are really sad about people being like basically devoid of any moral.
That's true. That's true. I forgot about that. I'm gonna have to watch that again. I think maybe it was a little smarter than I remember it.
Yeah, and the effects are pretty
good.
good.
They are. And that one ended super weird too. Like
yes, it was a very depressing ending. Yeah. Yes.
All right, guys, that was Rare Exports. I forgot the title. A Christmas Tale. I love it. I don't care what Maddy says. You'll love it too.
If you want to check out our blog, you can find us at Hallow-Holic@blogspot.com or Hallow-Holic@wordpress.com.
And if you wish, you may tweet us at Twitter.
Don't tweet us at Tumblr. You're not going to get any responses.
No, especially now that we can't send nudes.
Corey nudes specifically.
You can tweet us at Nowhere23 or Hallow-Holics.
You know, he was going to be an elf this year.
I was going to be an elf? Oh, it took me a second. I get it now.
You can email us at hallowholics@outlook.com.
I am forced to tell you that you can also find us on Podpedia by searching for our portal, HHA.
Hey, do you smell smoke?
Yeah, I do. I just assumed you said something on fire. Is it coming from the fireplace?